it's like my products have gone up. My commission is the same, fine. But like everything's gone up, and I'm a freelancer. But like if someone's got a salon, their water, their gas, this all costs a lot of money. And like back in the day, you used to be able to use Spotify in your business. Now you got to pay a music license. Like it's endless, the things that you have to pay for when you're running a business.
Today we are joined by Rosie Grace. She is a curl and textured hair specialist. That includes being a session stylist and also a braid artist on locks, natural hair, and everything else around. So thanks for being on the show, Rosie.
Thanks for having me.
To get started, I love to know why people pick hair. So why did you end up going into hair? What happened?
I feel like it was in my realm from when I was quite young, because my auntie had her own salon. Oh, I need to sneeze. No, anyway. Sorry. So my auntie had her own salon from when I was maybe like 6, 7. And some summers I would end up in the salon, like washing hair and answering the phones, and just kids love all of that, don't they? So
yeah.
I feel that was my first taste to the industry. But I ultimately went into hair because I needed to be able to provide for my kids, and I wanted a job that is based on what you put in. You know what I mean? And I've always been more like arty and creative, as opposed to like being someone that could sit in an office. Is just not. It isn't me. And my auntie was the one that was like, Rosie, go do hair school.
Yeah.
When I was like 18 and not knowing where I was going to go, what to do, auntie was like, go and do hair.
And okay. Did you find it easy in terms of, or natural to pick up the craft of doing your hands? Because as you mentioned, I have a desk job, and yeah, I would love to be able to say I do hair. So I wondered, did you just take to it when you did start going to hair school?
I'm not gonna lie, no. No, oh my days. Cutting hair, learning to cut hair was so hard for me, because it will be like, so this is going to be a square cut. What do you mean? This is going to be a circular cut. But how? Like, it took me so long to get that you mean like the sectioning is, and the way that you elevate, and la la la. So no, the dyslexic in me was just like, no, overwhelmed. But it's practice, and it's, practice makes progress, doesn't it? So you've just got to kind of keep at it. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
It was hard.
So it was hard. Okay, cool, yeah. Good. If it was hard for you, then I definitely will not attempt. In terms of your experience in the industry, I know you were previously doing all hair types, and then you chose to specialize in textured and curly hair. Can you talk a bit about your early days after hair school, going into the industry, and why you ultimately made that decision to specialize?
I'm going to paint a picture here. So it's in Lambeth. We're just by Clapham. And our whole hair class, I'd say 90% of us were black and mixed and not white, basically. And yet all we learned to do was white hair. And, this is England, so I kind of get it. But it was just kind of wild to me that the only thing they offered to learn to do with Afro hair was relaxers. And I was there like, I personally have had my own long journey of having to like shun the relaxers and be like, no. So I thought that was quite shocking. And we also had to like work one day in a salon alongside the course. So I worked somewhere very close to my kids' nursery and in my local area. And all the clientele is white. If someone black come in, oh, sorry, we don't do your hair, basically. And I just from young, like really understood, or like from early in the game, really understood that there's still such segregation in hair. And being mixed, where do I go? No one can do your hair. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel that it came from knowing that it's an important missing piece it also came from wanting to, like, the past self of, like, my past self, I should have been able to go and have my hair done, or we should all be able to feel beautiful, or be able to be handled in a way that doesn't make us feel like a fucking alien. I can't swear, can I?
You can swear, it's fine. Not swear,
Okay.
it's okay. It's okay.
I always get told off. Oh.
If you do swear, I can always beep it out. It's fine.
Yeah, beep. Oh, that's, yeah. All right. So I just feel like I always knew that there was a need for it, you know, and like, I think we always do look at the world through our own lens, and my lens was like, oh, okay, so I either have to go somewhere where they are too rough with my hair, or go somewhere where they butcher my hair. Like, there's no in between. So I think it came from wanting to see, like, the youngers not have the struggles that I had, or like my daughter, you know, the not being
her
hair, she's afro, but she's got light skin, so it's like,
where does she go?
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like I specialized because also I was always the only in a salon. I'd be the one black girl. Do you know what I mean? Like, the place I trained at, there was me and one mixed race girl. That was it.
And did that mean you got, I don't know, when you were in these salons and you were the only black person, did that mean that if any black clients came in, automatically you were the person?
No, because they wouldn't do them.
Okay. They just would say no.
There's a lot of salons.
Okay.
They might as well say Caucasian only. They might as well say that.
That's crazy. That's crazy, because in my experience, I remember I lived in Leeds. I'm from Cambridge. I've lived all over the UK. And I would always, if there was a person of colour, automatically I knew that's exactly where I'm getting sent. Provided that I would usually ring up beforehand. I think also what's wild is I've heard hairstylists say that in hair school they learn about Caucasian hair or straight hair, for example. But it's wild to me that you were in a class and everyone was a person of colour, and like that didn't even make the teacher think, even if there's a curriculum, this doesn't actually make sense right now.
One of our two of the tutors were black.
That makes it,
yeah,
that makes it complicated, because it's you'll never know. Like, I don't know, like I would love to ask them or ask someone, was there conversations and you were told shut it down and you've just then had to do your job, or is it a complete ignorance? I don't know the answers, but maybe I need to get someone who's working on that side of things to kind of give some context to this, because it does feel a bit crazy that we're still having this conversation in 2023.
You know, true English form, the only thing that made colleges go, oh yeah, let's do a module on black hair, was George Floyd.
That was a module that they added, because I know they put out an announcement they were going to add something to the curriculum and they were going to update the curriculum, but they didn't say
I heard it was a module, not the whole. They won't. It's too. I was going to do a black hair course, but there wasn't enough people to do it. So I had to do the white course, and my auntie was like, just do the white hair thing. There's money there, and then later specialize. And I was like, okay. And it's true, because there's shops that I used to go to in Peckham, their price is still the same now as how many 14 years ago. How's your price gone up maybe £20 or whatever?
That doesn't make sense.
There's disparities going on, and it's like, it's quite sad, to be honest. You know,
it is sad. It is sad.
It's sad, man. Everyone's price should be up. You know.
Yeah, I say that to all my hairstylists. They're like, Taisha, the price is going up. I'm like, it's inflation. It's inflation. You know, and also it's just like your service. You provide a service, and this is something I had a conversation with in the season 1. Was especially in textured and curly hair, there can be a view of like, there's a massive discourse, right, about pricing, and there might be someone who has insane pricing. We can choose who we go to. The economics of it and the reality of it is, and I think I was speaking to my sisters about this, is like, we also have grown up in a world where we're like, well, my mum can do it, or I'm used to sitting on someone's floor, I'm used to going to someone's house. And it's like, in some ways, I wonder if it's also like forgetting, like, hey, this is a skill that someone can do. And like, would anyone else say, hey, it's weird to put your price up right now, or just in general? So I have no issue with the price increases my hairstylists have given, because I'm like, what you do is gold dust. But I'm also like, why is there always a fight for it to be as cheap as possible? Because is that fair on the hairstylists?
I mean, I don't want to say things that sound insensitive or like
Yeah.
generalizing, but I just feel like there's always going to be people that like even myself, more time I'm struggling for money. Do you know what I mean? Like the price going up, I have felt that. So I understand, but it's a thing of we're all in the same boat. And sadly, for people on wage, like this is why I did hair, because I can control my price. So it's like, I understand if, you know, you've been on the same wage and you work in Sainsbury's and you're, you know, £20 increase
Tough.
or whatever. But it's like, my products have gone up. My commission is the same, fine. But like everything's gone up, and I'm a freelancer. But like, if someone's got a salon, their water, their gas, this all costs a lot of money. And like back in the day, you used to be able to use Spotify in your business. Now you got to pay a music license. Like it's endless, the things that you have to pay for when you're running a business. And I just think that the way I try and break it down for clients is like, let's say I'm saying it's £150 for your braids. And they're like, I can go to auntie for 70. One, go to auntie then. Go to her. That's fine.
Yeah.
I won't be sour. If you really can't afford it, fine. But I'm like, let's say I'm going to take 6 hours. How much is that 150 divided by 6? How much am I making per hour? I need to be on £20 an hour minimum. That's what I try to have myself. 2, out of that, you get the best products. The hair is included. You're going to get a nice massage. Like, my service, I feel, is worth that.
Yeah.
So, and then the last thing is, how long are you going to wear it? So then this 150 divided by 2 months
is not a lot of money. When you weigh it up.
When you weigh it up, I'm like, babes, I get it. It feels like a lot, because even me, when I go and get my hair done, I'm like fighting to give them money. Do you know what I mean? It feels like a lot, but beauty is pain and finance. So
yeah,
it's just one of those things. I think that, I don't know, the more I'm into it, the more I'm like, no, you got to like know your worth and your value and whatnot. But it is tricky. Yeah. I feel anxious sometimes, being like, oh, I've got to give a quote. Like, what if they say no, or they want to, you know what I mean? Like, it can be a bit, I hate talking money. It makes me really uncomfortable.
And it's funny because in like, again, being Black and being in the community, it's like, money's not something that, this is a very general statement, but it is something that has a taboo around it and how we just talk about it. So I love the fact that you've been quite balanced. I agree. If you simply cannot afford it, that's understandable. Respectfully though, I respect people who are given a certain service and they're like, my price has gone up. And the customers that can afford it and can follow that will. And
also, lastly, where I work, I'm trying to look for somewhere, a space in South, so I don't want to like speak on that yet. But I work in North London 1 day a week. I work a 12-hour shift, so I like bang out clients, and more time I'm doing cuts. A bit of color, braiding. But when I'm doing the braids, people come and they're like, can't believe I'm getting my hair braided here. It's a bougie establishment. You can get cocktails. You can get merch in there. You can get your nails done. You can get douche gems up. People come and they don't want to leave. That's also part of it. And that's also part of my like mission statement, to be like, in 20 years, it should be, you go anywhere to get your fucking hair done. Anywhere. Because if you can't dress all hair, you're not a hairdresser. Sorry, babe. You're not. You know what I mean? Like, being Black, if you go and do it through college, you have to learn everyone's hair. And then I even took it off my own back to do a course to make sure I had something that said I've done Afro hair, because I wanted that for myself.
Yeah.
So it's like we all have to learn to do all, especially in London. I think it's wild that people that live in London can't do
in the
all
city.
hair.
And it is important because I back home, well, I'm in New York, but back home when I was living in London, I remember my hairstylist was talking about his price and stuff, and I explained to him, I was like, but you can do everything. You can treat my natural hair, you can put a weave in, you can do my braids. Like, for me, I'm like, do you understand? Like, your skill set for me is worth whatever price, because I'm like, I can come to you for anything and I should be able to do that. And it should be easy. So yeah, let's hope in 20 years that we do see change there, because it is ridiculous. I've probably only been to 3 hairdressers in my life, and I'm 31, where I've walked in and just been able to get my hair done. And it's been probably a professional environment. So we talked about kind of you specializing in textured hair and going into that and making sure that qualification, and it was noted on your experience. We talked about kind of the discourse around price. I would love to get your perspective as someone who can do everything. There's a lot of online social media chatter around textured hair and the perspectives of what people think, right? I'm generally of the view of folks, do as you please with your hair. You know, it's your body, it's your beauty. As a specialist, what are some of the misconceptions or the things you hear around textured hair and natural hair that you're kind of like, that's not true, or people should kind of understand this around the care of textured hair?
I just think people think it's hard, like hard to deal with. It's hard. Like people always like, oh my God, your hair is so soft. I'm like, do you think it feels like iron? Like what? That's the first thing. I don't want to keep hearing, oh yeah, it's so soft, bitch, I know. Crazy is something. Also, in this last month, someone has said my hair in Bantus. They're like, "Oh, you look great. Your hair's crazy," and I was like, "Thanks, Mr. Italia. Cool." And even someone said my daughter's hair in braids looks crazy. And I don't know if it's like an adjective that you think we love, but yeah, I was in a professional setting and I had to be like,
crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
I've never, you know what it is? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think about when I've looked at someone and thought, your hair looks crazy. Like, I'm trying to think, what does crazy hair look like? Like, genuinely in my head, I'm like, what's crazy hair look like? Because I've never thought that. It's not. I mean,
there's certain elders, like certain aunties, that you're like, auntie, the wig is dead. Let it go.
Is it crazy? Is it crazy?
That's a bit crazy, you know? Oh God, but just I think there's endless misconceptions. And I think that really the way that they've allowed like these misconceptions continue is because you are not speaking from experience, you're speaking from your hypothetical knowledge. Do you know what I mean? Like we all make assumptions, yeah? We really, really do. I keep catching myself being like, oh, I really just assumed you were a hairdresser, but you're a photographer. Oh, my bad. You know? So I'm sure there are hairdressers out here being like, with their misconceptions about black hair and da-da-da, but it's like, don't speak on what you know, or go and get educated. Do you know what I mean? Don't keep adding to the
negativity.
I don't know. I think people, I don't know. I think people just don't know. It's like when I started doing hair, I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to hold my scissors correctly. I didn't know that you don't know anything. So if you're a hairstylist and you don't know about black hair, just know you know fucking nothing. Go to a course, go to the Kevin Fortune thing, go and pay someone, a black person, to teach you. And then once a week, do a black model. Do better. Yeah. That's it. Okay. Get rid of the misconception. That's the only thing you can do is try and learn. You know what I mean? If all of us have to learn in your salons and service people that look like you that don't look like us, like I felt weird doing white hair because I was like, I have dreadlocks. Do you trust that I can do your hair? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe it feels like that on the other side. I'm sure it feels like that. I know that there's a whole bunch of white women that are scared to touch black hair, scared to say the wrong thing, and I don't want to. Oh, I want to be respectful. Be respectful and just learn and be confident in yourself. The whole, oh, I don't want confrontation energy. Don't put that in my head. That's the misconception. Misconception is black women are too protective and this and that. And no, we hold trauma from all the fuckeries of trying to get our hair done from all the years. It's quite a simple thing. If you went to one of these salons and they were like, right, here's Becky with the good hair. She can do all hair. It's your choice to give her a chance or not. But like, we're gonna not be like, I'm not having a white woman do my hair. No, if you know what you're doing, that's it.
I agree.
Let your skills speak for themselves. And if you're unskilled, honey, go learn. It's 2023. That's it. I don't know if that really answered your question.
No, but... I think it does. And I actually, on the thing, it's funny because you talk about, obviously, people look at your hair and think, can you do my hair? And I joked with one of my hairstylists before, because I said, every time I come see you, your hair is not done. You look like you haven't done your hair, because he's working all the time. And right now, I said this because hairstylists are so busy that I'm actually not checking for their hair, because I'm like, all I need to know is that they can do my hair. So I agree with you. I definitely would be open to anyone of any race doing my hair. I've only ever had one person not black do my hair, and they were Asian, and my hair was absolutely great. They did an amazing job with my hair, but they'd obviously done the work to skill. So I hear you. I think it's more about putting your best foot forward versus you don't want us to touch it, because that's also not true if you can do it.
That's a misconception. Do you know how I wish, like, for instance, at Fashion Week, I was just on Fashion Week, and more time, all the jobs were, there was maybe 3 or 4 black people out of a team of 20, which is fine. But then sometimes a lot of the models are black. So then I'm there being told by like a white woman how to do something and on someone's hair, and she knows what she's doing, and I learn things, but it's like that model might be going, oh wow, this room is, do you know what I mean? I don't know, but I think it's slowly changing, but I do sense that there's going to be like, there's this influx of like, I need to learn how to do braids now. And you're like,
and actually there's people that are there that can.
Stop. Yeah. No, because that I find a little bit insulting, to be like, you're going to just learn in 3 days how to do braids. Honey, like, we've been doing braids since we were young, or I learned when I was pregnant, because I was like, my child will not look like some doo-doo braid head like I did. You know, like it is an artistry, I think, and it's like, let black women do the braiding for a bit, okay? Like, just give us give space to allow us, because if we are on set doing these things, that's how you're gonna learn. By assisting us.
And there are so many people, and there's so many people that can do hair that can't get in those rooms. And so I 100% agree. It's like, you can learn, but let's give credit where it's due, and let's remember that there are people there that you can hire. Like,
this is the icky bit, because I do feel like there are big companies that have hair teams already, that the hair team's like, oh, we want to learn to braid so that we can keep it in-house. And you're like, I'm not going to teach you then. Sorry. Someone will. But I think that it's giving colonizer, babe. Like, just come on.
Just hire the people that can do it.
Hire the people. Diversify. Let the space be for all. Because then as well, you're not just thinking of your paycheck. You're thinking, oh, let's make the models more comfortable.
Yeah. It works for everyone.
Let's make this a diverse space. Let's make this for everybody. If that's not your intention, then it's a bit misguided to me.
Yeah.
Because honestly, to me, I always want to learn from the best. It makes the most sense for me to be like, bring black men and women on that can do shit hot braiding or shit hot this, locks, whatever, and you will be in their presence, and you will learn you will learn more from that than going to a course.
And clients and
take the information, then you've got to take it somewhere else and practice. Whereas if you have a space where everyone is there at their best, like, that's how you learn off of each other. That's the best way.
100%.
Do that. Okay. Is what I
so we've spoken a bit about the things that we want to see improve in the industry and need to improve. Let's speak a bit more about your career. I'd love to know, for you, as you've specialized, I know some folks say pigeonholing can be a thing in getting booked, but I would love to focus on like the good things for you. So what have been some of your highlights so far, and why?
I think one of my highlights has been working with the Soul Nash team, because for me, looking back at the last 3 seasons we've done, it's like the progression. I think that's something that's really important to stop, take a minute and recognize, because boy, life goes so fast, you know, like 3 years has gone really fast, but like when I see our work in year 1 compared to year 3, like, it makes me feel good to know, like, oh, I'm still growing and I'm 31. Like, that's really cool. What else have I done? I feel everything goes into one. I did some cool music videos last year. That was quite cool, to book something off my own back and work with like musicians. I quite like that. And yeah, this year's Fashion Week, I'm doing Paris Fashion Week, so this will be a highlight. I know that much, just because Fashion Week's so crazy. Oh my god! But like this Fashion Week, I would say my highlight was probably doing the main show.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Congrats!
it was Black excellence at its
Yeah.
finest. I can't. It was beautiful. It was so beautiful, from the clothes to the people to the team. Really, really cool.
Okay.
Good energy. And the looks, I don't know, just everything came together so great. But to be at Fashion Week braiding hair and like to have like a few women on one head and we're all there, and she's like, I love it. It gives me life, because I'm like, this is like the ancestors' dream. In my head. My ancestors are like hair artists as well, right? So it's their dreams.
Yeah.
But it's like so reminiscent to what black hair is, and how you can sit there and have numerous women on your hair and it gets done quick, fast, and it just looks insane and beautiful.
And it's on stage, right? Your work is going to be seen, and it's like, it's wild. Like I think it was Dior shoot, and I saw like braids, and I thought like, how have I feel like I've waited my whole life so far to see this in this setting? So like, yeah, it's exciting, but it's still so new. So I'm glad that you've been able to
For
work on
real,
that.
for real.
It's
It's
new.
like I worked under Ali on the Harris Reed show, and
Okay.
Harris Reed's gowns. Oh my god, I was gagged by how beautiful and structural, and black and white's my favorite color combo.
Okay.
So I actually didn't realize the gowns until like they started getting changed, and I was like, you know, like, because the hair just like every
Pops,
part of
everything
everything was
pops.
just incredible. And yeah, I think that I love Fashion Week because you're a small cog of a big machine, but everyone is as valued. I'm always like, come on, we're team, da da da, like makeup, hair, like everyone has their part to play, and it comes together like symphony. I don't know, comes together real nice. So yeah, no, it is cool. It's beautiful.
And then looking ahead, do you have any like collaborations or things that you would love to do? They might not be on the cards yet, but you're like, oh, if I could work on that, or if I could partner with this brand or person, I would love to explore what that could be creatively.
I don't know that one.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not really. I need to think of the future more, but I'm always like a 3 steps is enough for me to look forward kind of person, because otherwise I'm just overwhelmed. Like,
that's fair.
Sometimes it's just 1 week at a time, you know. I've definitely got ideas for like my own kind of projects that I'm trying to sort and do, and right now I think that I look forward to doing more collaborations with people on my own level and creating things that we feel are relevant to the cultures of now, as opposed to being like, oh yeah, of course I'd love to work with Dr. Martens, or I'd love to work with like whatever brands, like not really like fashion like that. Do you know what I mean? So
that's super important.
maybe Clarks, maybe some collaboration thing with like Clarks, or fly out to Jamaica for that one.
True, that's true. That would be a good one. But I love the thing about being on the same level. I love it was Issa Rae did an interview when someone asked her like how she's kept creative in building her shows and stuff, and she said like, I work with people I was broke with. So like she's like, I don't aspire for, she's like, I got good because I was broke. So she was like, I creatively maintain those relationships because like that's how I get where I am. She's like, I bring the people through. And that's how she stayed authentic. So I love that you said that, because social media and everything
know what the future holds. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, the future comes based on what we do now. So I think it is actually a very good shout to be connected to your network, because and that's what I think is actually quite difficult in this industry sometimes. Like, Fashion Week lets you meet the others doing the same as you, whereas sometimes like more time I'll go on a shoot and I'll see someone that I know, but it's not like I'm going to see you next week. I might see you in another 6 months. So like things like Fashion Week, I feel are where you can like connect with your people because you're doing the same thing, but London has hundreds of shoots every day. Like, it's actually wild to think how many studios there are, how many on-site sets, blah, 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 and you're like, oh, I'm here again. Oh, and I know you, 1 out of 25. So I think Fashion Week, I try and see that as my way to like connect to my people in my industry doing the same grind as you and people that have actual understanding for what you really, really do. So bring on Paris.
Bring on Paris. And
bring
honestly, you've spoken a lot today about like ownership, right? And giving people access. And I do think that like peer-to-peer collaboration in the long run makes everyone stronger, because it's like, actually, no, we're all on the same page. So if you want to deal with us or you want to work with us, this is how we all see it. And so I love that. Final question, because I'm conscious of your time. I know you got stuff to do. What excites you about the current state of curly and textured hairstyling, and the future of the industry for folks looking to specialize?
I think it's exciting how much the clients actually want to put time in on their hair now, because I feel like people understand that their curls, like, you have to do your get regular trims, like, I feel like I always have to kind of train up my new clients to be like, oh, you're here again after a year. Oh, and your hair's dry. Okay, well, I'll see you in 6 months then. Like, girl, you can't be doing this. But I think it's exciting the way that there's more representation, that people now have more of an understanding, or even it is exciting that people do want to learn to be able to deal with afro and curls and whatnot. So I think I'd be excited for the future to be a place where maybe there isn't just black and white salons, there's salons, you know what I mean? But I think that will actually take quite a while. But it's more a thing of, I don't know, I like barbershop, you know, like the film, and they've got that one white girl that like trains up and she proves herself and she can do all hair, la la la, like things like that. It should just be a space where like men, women go, everyone can go. That's my thing of like, I think it's quite segregated in female, male, and black and white, and it's like it should be just a space where you go and get your hair. That's what I like love to see one day. Just be like hair salon, not barber, not afro, not just salon. Okay,
the vibes would be good. The vibes would be good.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Come on. But I think that people need to humble themselves a bit. It's okay that you didn't learn when you know, until BLM. It's okay. But now you're going to learn, or just sit quietly. So like the more we integrate and the more we learn off of each other, because it's like there's so many people I know in this industry actually that I'm like, you can do things that I can't do. And they're like, oh, I love that you're such a sick braider. Find people that do things you can't do and say, right, let's spend 4 hours together and let's swap. Let's skill swap. Because that's actually a priceless thing that you can do. With friends, with people that you meet on set, be like, okay, well, I can teach you to braid if you teach me to, I don't know, put rollers in or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I think that the future is exciting. There's already more inclusivity in the terms that African, like Afro hair models and people of the spectrum of African are they're who people want to see behind camera now, like in front of the camera now. So I think that that's already the first step, because there are going to be people that pretend they can do black hair and they can't. So it's like people will have to learn and people will have to be brought in that weren't the normal behind the camera people. And I think it's just coming towards being more fair as well, you know? Like we never want handouts. We just want to be able to like represent for ourselves, I feel. So
same opportunity.
Yeah, man, that's it.
That's it. Cool. I think that's a lovely note to end on. Thank you for giving the time. Thank you for having this conversation. I've enjoyed it. And enjoy Fashion Week.
I will. I'm tired already.
It'll be good. Take care.
It'll be great. All right. Bye.
Bye.